To understand why this moment matters, you have to go back to the late 1990s, when Volkswagen Group acquired the Bugatti name and handed a team of engineers an instruction that bordered on absurdity. Build the fastest, most powerful production car ever made. Not a concept. Not a track-only special. A car that could be registered for public roads. A car that someone could drive to dinner, park, and drive home. A car that would make every other manufacturer in the world feel like they were running a hobby operation. The engineers studied the problem from every angle and landed on a solution that sounded more like science fiction than automotive engineering. Take two of Volkswagen's compact W8 engines and fuse them together at the crankshaft. The result would be 16 cylinders arranged in a W configuration, so dense, so wide, that it challenged the packaging limits of any car ever designed. They bolted on 4 turbochargers, 2 per bank, and added intercoolers, oil coolers, air conditioning loops, and differential cooling systems requiring 10 separate radiators to keep the assembly alive at full load. 10 radiators. In a car. The complexity alone was enough to make most engineers walk away entirely. Those who stayed produced one of the most significant mechanical objects of the 21st century. The W16, in its first production form for the Veyron, displaced 8 liters and produced exactly 1,001 horsepower. The number was not an accident. It was chosen deliberately to push past the psychologically significant 1,000 mark, to make clear, from the very first figure, that this was a different category of machine. When the Veyron reached customers in 2005, the nearest competitor in raw power was the Ferrari Enzo at 660 horsepower. Bugatti had built an engine producing more than 50% more power than the car everyone else considered the benchmark. That wasn't an improvement. That was an annihilation. The W16 also required tires that didn't exist yet. Michelin had to develop an entirely new compound specifically for the Veyron, engineered to survive the forces the engine generated at full throttle without delaminating or overheating. Each set cost hundreds of dollars to replace and was only rated for around 1,500 miles before Bugatti recommended swapping them. And Bugatti itself reportedly lost over 5 million euros on every single car sold. They built 450 of them. The mathematics of that decision tell you everything about what the Veyron was actually for. It was never about profit. It was about proving something. It was about drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is what the absolute limit of automotive engineering looks like. This is where physics stops dictating what's possible and starts watching to see what humans will do anyway. For 20 years, the W16 was the most convincing answer anyone had ever given to that question. What made the engine truly remarkable wasn't just the headline figures. It was the refinement. At idle, the W16 was almost imperceptible. A low, cultured murmur that gave no indication of the violence waiting behind the throttle. At motorway speeds, the cabin was quieter than many luxury saloons. The engineering team had spent extraordinary effort suppressing noise, vibration, and harshness, making an engine with the character of a nuclear power station behave with the composure of a Swiss watch. That paradox became Bugatti's identity. And the W16 wasn't just the expression of that identity. It was the identity itself. In 2010, Bugatti released the Veyron Supersport. Engineers reworked the turbocharger specs, improved intercooler efficiency, revised the engine management software, and extracted 1,200 horsepower from the same fundamental architecture. They took the car to Volkswagen's Ereleschen Proving Ground in Germany and recorded a verified two-way average of 267.8 miles per hour. Guinness World Records confirmed the run. The Veyron Supersport was officially and undeniably the fastest production car in the world. To put that number in perspective, a commercial aircraft during takeoff rolls at around 160 to 180 miles per hour. The Supersport was traveling 60% faster than a passenger jet at the point of liftoff. The W16 had taken automotive performance into territory that previously existed only in the language of aerospace. Then came the Chiron in 2017. Bugatti built an entirely new car around the engine, pushing the architecture further in every dimension. Output grew to 1,500 horsepower. Aerodynamics were completely redesigned with active elements adjusting the car's profile based on speed and driver input. The interior became a showcase of handcrafted luxury that Bugatti's craftspeople in Molsheim spent months building per vehicle. The Chiron wasn't a successor to the Veyron. It was an argument that the W16 still had decades of relevance ahead of it. And then, in 2019, Bugatti built a modified Chiron and sent it back to Aeroleshen with British racing driver Andy Wallace behind the wheel. The tires had been developed specifically for speeds no production rubber had ever been asked to survive. The aerodynamics were revised entirely to reduce drag at extreme velocity. On a warm August afternoon, Andy Wallace crossed the timing beam at 304.77 kilometers per hour, just over 300 miles per hour. The figure was barely comprehensible. Nearly 300 miles per hour in a car with a number plate, air conditioning, and a stereo. For 15 years, across 2 generations and 3 major evolutions of output, the W16 had never once been caught short. Every time the competition moved the target, the engine had more in reserve. While Bugatti dominated with the overwhelming force of the W16, a much smaller company in southern Sweden was quietly building its entire identity around one objective: defeating it. Not competing with the W16, surpassing it. From the moment Christian von Koenigsegg founded his company in 1994, his ambition was startlingly direct. He didn't want to build an impressive sports car or a respected boutique brand. He wanted to build the fastest production car in the world. From a small factory, with resources that looked microscopic compared to the giants he was chasing. The Veyron had become more than a car. It was an industrial statement backed by the financial and engineering power of the Volkswagen Group. Koenigsegg was the romantic underdog from Scandinavia, a brilliant outsider pursuing an impossible target. But Christian von Koenigsegg never accepted that hierarchy. Rather than imitate Bugatti's formula, he pursued a completely different philosophy. Where the Veyron relied on overwhelming power and relentless stability, Koenigsegg focused on lightweight construction, aerodynamic efficiency, and radical mechanical innovation. That philosophy reached its historic peak in November 2017, when the Agera RS completed a verified two-way top speed run of 277.9 miles per hour on a closed highway in Nevada, officially surpassing the Veyron Supersport and claiming the production car world record. A small Swedish manufacturer had defeated the most powerful automotive empire on Earth at its own game. Then came the Jesko, and the stakes changed entirely. Its twin-turbocharged V8 produced up to 1,600 horsepower on E85 fuel while revving to 8,500 revolutions per minute, an extraordinary figure for a forced induction engine. The transmission, which Koenigsegg called the light-speed transmission, was a 9-speed multi-clutch gearbox capable of near-instantaneous gear selection through a system unlike anything else in production. So many of Koenigsegg's engineering solutions required new patents that competitors stopped laughing. The Jesko Absolute, the ultimate evolution, was projected to reach speeds approaching 330 miles per hour. Every component existed for one purpose: to end the W16's reign permanently. And then Bugatti removed the target altogether. On June 20, 2024, Bugatti unveiled the Tourbillon. And the automotive world went quiet, not the staged silence of a luxury reveal, but the silence of people trying to process something that didn't fit inside their existing understanding of what a Bugatti was supposed to be. At the center of the Tourbillon sits a naturally aspirated 8.3-liter V16, designed entirely in-house from a blank sheet of paper. For the first time in the modern Bugatti era, the company was not adapting Volkswagen Group architecture. This was Bugatti building its own mechanical identity from nothing. The new V16 revs to 9,000 revolutions per minute and produces 986 horsepower without a single turbocharger or supercharger. Nearly 1,000 horsepower from atmospheric pressure alone, more than Ferrari's celebrated V12 in the Daytona SP3, without forced induction. Combined with 3 electric motors developed alongside Rimac Automobili, 1 at the front axle, 2 at the rear, total system output reaches 1,800 horsepower. And unlike turbocharged power that builds as revs climb, electric torque arrives the instant the accelerator moves. No lag, no buildup. Just immediate, overwhelming force arriving before your nervous system has finished processing the input. The tourbillon costs 3.8 million euros before taxes. The waiting list filled almost immediately after the reveal. Because what Bugatti announced that afternoon wasn't a new model. It was a new era. And it immediately reframed every question the hypercar world had been asking. Koenigsegg built the Jesko Absolute to beat a car that no longer exists. The tourbillon replaced the top speed war with a more complex argument. Which manufacturer can create the most complete vision of what a hypercar should be? Buyers are no longer only asking which car is fastest in a straight line. They're asking which company has built the most compelling, most coherent answer to the future of performance itself. That question doesn't have a simple answer yet. But the competition to answer it, between a company that built its legend on brute force and refinement, and one that built its legend on refusing to accept what was thought possible, is only getting started.